All right, this entire month we have been working on being taught by God. And the first Sunday we talked about how we needed to expand and then act. And excuse me, the second Sunday Cheryl taught us all about that beautiful intuition within that we all have to hear and understand the guidances that we receive. And then last week our beautiful ministers of healing came and they shared a personal story about how they had followed their guidance into changing their world. So in all of the stories, there is a common theme. Being taught by God is a life-changing event. Sometimes the change is inside, like when Katie learned how to send love instead of have walls. Sometimes the change is in the world around you, like Noelle's story, where she was relocated, kicking and screaming. But God changes you. God always changes you. Listening and doing is acting in faith. You may not know why you're doing what you're doing, but if you're listening and doing, you can know that it is always good. Listening begins basically with creating a space to be receptive. And I know that a lot of us were taught when we're teeny little creatures to pray, aren't we? Our mommies come in and pray with us at night. And we talk to God, but we're really not taught to listen. Listening comes when we have that silent space where we have opened and we can now hear. And for me, that is meditation. When we take the time to set aside to do our prayer and then sit in the silence, go to God and be in that oneness energy. When I first started meditating for that purpose, I had done a lot of different types of meditations in my youth. When I was about 30, I found a metaphysical church, which didn't exist before that time. And that was a joke, y'all. And I started learning how to meditate and then listen as well. And so when I would spend my time in meditation, I set aside a specific time every morning to get up before the sun and talk to God and pray and listen and go into the silence. And then every time when I knew it was getting ready to end, I was either coming back or I knew my time was running out, I would always ask, give me either a message or a gift. And I would sit there till I got my message or my gift. And they knew I had to be at work on time. So my angels and my spirit guides would give me something. And sometimes, oftentimes, I didn't know what it meant. And I would always say, what does this mean? And sometimes the words, it would take a while before I got it, or the symbolism would take a while. But when I got it, when it was revealed to me, it was always, ah, that did not come from my brain. There was nothing in my mind that would have put those words together. That was truly a divine message from Spirit. And I know right now everything I'm saying, I'm preaching to the choir, right? Right. Everybody's going, we already do all this stuff. We do this stuff. Well, maybe take a few notes. Maybe we could take it a little deeper. So, this is what I was reminded of this morning. I heard a long time ago, and I thought it was quite a profound statement. Someone said, if a person spent as much energy in their work, in their job, as they do on their marriage, they would be fired. Did you follow that? The truth could be said about God. If a person invested as much energy at their job as they do in their spiritual relationship with God, they would be fired. Period. Breathe. Squirming. Right. Spirit creates matter. Your spirit creates matter. If your spirit creates matter, don't you think it would be beneficial for you to get in touch with your spirit? Yes. With God, with that higher self, with your energy. Investing your time with God creates a relationship. And this is how the energy comes. Sometimes when you get your guidance, you get that flow. There is something very specific that you do. Other times when you get your guidance, it's just simply, I feel good and I'm flowing with good. Do you know what I'm saying? You just get up and everything's serendipitous and it's fabulous, and off you go. Then there are times when you're in that spiritual space with God and you feel the need to take charge and to tell God everything that you need to happen and how you need it to happen. And then if you're wise enough, you go, oh, but your will be done. And if you do that, you're okay. If you do the other, you've just stepped out of the flow of God's will for you. Always go back to listening. And we do that in our meditation. We're so open to God. We're so open to God. And then we open our eyes and we go to work and we're so not open to God anymore. And it so needs to be the way we need it to be. And we so forget to stop and ask, is there something I need to be taught here? Is there a different way to do it? Can you feel room to grow and expand? Okay. All right. As you begin to follow the guidance, this is not about you becoming a puppet to divine mind. As you begin to follow your guidance, it's always about perfecting you. It's about you growing to become the most perfect and wonderful being that you can be. Being taught by God is truly about growth. We are asked to grow. We're asked to respond. The guidance will sometimes take us to that space of joy. And then sometimes it takes us to us becoming a very important piece in the puzzle of somebody else's journey. Sometimes our guidance, we're asked to do or say something or be somewhere or participate at some level, and we have no idea why. But we're playing a role of benefit or blessing to someone else in that moment. When we stay in the energy of following our guidance and letting ourselves expand to be taught by God, we're always in our right and perfect place, always where we need to be. Then there are some times when we're simply fed, and then there are times when we are asked to show up in a way we never have before. And it's in those times that we know we're ready. My life has been a journey of being taught by God. Most of you know the stories. I've shared them with you over time. From a child to an adult. You know, I've had those moments when I was young, when I was 31 and I could see that I was unhappy with what was happening, and I was meditating every day, and I could see that the job wasn't where I was supposed to be, and I was burdened with my relationship and had a tiny baby to tend. And I could see that I needed to move, and I could see that I was needing to go into another space. And I had been in metaphysics, and they said, ask what you want, do what you want, God's going to take care of you. Do you hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I remember that pivotal moment when I was driving my car, and I was at an exit ramp. And I was going, I could tell God I want another job right now. And the scene froze. And the wisdom came. And it was like an angel's voice said to me, you know what? Just because you can see where you need to be doesn't mean it's in place yet. If you do this now, you will be forcing God's hand and you will be acting in your will, and it's going to be difficult. And when I counsel my clients sometimes, and I know they've got the vision and the guidance right there, and they're like, and I see the angel behind them going, it's not yet, not yet. We're giving them the plan to prepare them because they have to grow a lot between now and the moment they step out. There's a lot of growth going on. And it's so hard to tell that baby spirit, yeah, that's a good plan. Are you ready? Oh, yeah, I'm ready. We all think we're ready, don't we? Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Wait till you get the go. If you're given the vision of the plan, don't you think you're going to get the go? And then in my little event, I was 33. From 31 to 33, my baby was 3 years old. I had gone through a divorce. I had bought a tiny little beautiful house that would become our home base for 17 years. It was tiny. It was what we could do. I was taking care of that child. I was working full time. I was debt free. How much progress between 31 and 33? A lot. My spirit had grown a lot. And when I got the go, Step out now, quit your job, work part-time, and go to school and go to seminary. Get your training. I was terrified. 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 And I'm saying, I'm not ready. And they're saying, oh, yes, you are. And I have seen my clients in the very same boat. When they've set with the plan, they've evolved over time, and now Spirit's saying, jump, I got you. And they can't. And they're holding on with knuckles white. Can't. But the reality is every one of my clients has to. We have to. I had to. I had no choice. And I made a deal with God at that moment. I said, if I'm going to do this, and I know you've been preparing me for it, the ministry is all I've ever had in my heart. It's all I've ever wanted to be. But as a little girl, women were not allowed to be ministers. That's true. It was true. I took a breath. And I said, okay, God, I need $3,000. I had nothing in savings. I was hand to mouth. I said, $3,000 is what I need, because I know if I go out there and I make not one more dime, I can live on $3,000 for 2 months, and I can do anything with you in 2 months. You and I can do anything in 2 months. We can turn this world on its ear in 2 months. But I need that. I hadn't turned in my notice yet, and I started working. Kept my work, and I was working in corporate. And jobs started coming to me, little odd jobs, you know, and I could make a couple $100 here, and I worked at night. Took a vacation day, went into the office where I worked and worked on someone else's computer issue. $500 there. I was pulling in little bits, little drabs, gave my notice, did not know what I was going to do. And the HR person, bless her heart, Angel, came to me and said, Cindy, if you delay your departure date by 1 week, you will be fully vested in our retirement program, and you will get about $3,000 to take away with you. I said, let me delay it for a week. And I want you to know that $3,000 I still have. I've never touched it. I took it from Spirit to know that if I needed it, it would be there, and it's still there, and I have never touched it. Every moment of my life has been flying by the seat of my pants and learning from God. Every moment. The classes we teach, everything that we do here, Inner Quest was God. Starting this church was God. Everything has been, you take the step, I'm behind you, and I'll take you where you need to be. You're ready. I know that y'all have had similar moments, but I cannot tell you how valuable it is, how much your spirit needs you to change when you get to go. If you get to go, you need to go. You need to move in the direction that will fulfill your soul. That's where Spirit needs you to be. And if you don't get to go, guess where you are? Exactly where Spirit needs you to be. And where you are, you can grow and you can expand. And you can become that greater light. So there will be times when you are asked to stand up and to show up in a totally different way. And I debated sharing this with you because it is me. It's all my life, my experience. But I think I will. Over the years, I have had moments, and they are not frequent, when an angel will literally appear in my space. When this happens, I'm never in meditation. My eyes are open, I'm walking around, I'm doing something, and there will be a being in my space. And they normally come for a specific reason. I wrote about one that met me at our fountain in the back. It's on our front page, which I shared with you, when the angel appeared to let me know everything was going to be okay with the church. And that was the message. And I just cried, and it was such a strong, beautiful energy. So I shared it with you all. I wanted you to know. An angel appeared when we were putting together our Turkey trip for our members, our meditating members. We're going to Turkey in the fall. And we were having problems getting the details together. And an angel appeared to me in my room and gave me the itinerary to give to them to make it work. And it worked. And a couple of years ago, actually a couple of years ago, there were a couple of light beings that appeared in my office. I was working away, probably working on a seminary class. They were just there by my side. And the thing about angelic appearances is you are overwhelmed by love. The love is overwhelming. I was in tears immediately. The minute I felt them, I was crying. What do you need? What are you doing? And they asked me very lovingly, would you mind going to Callanish and doing some work for us?